welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for October 30th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, it seems perfect. Right in time for Halloween here. We've got Itty Bitty Hellboy, issue 3 of 5. And you know, they just announced they're going to be doing a Tiny Titans miniseries. So they are bringing that back. Lots of cool stuff. And, you know, and the Dark Horse folks who do Itty Bitty Hellboy are going to be printing All Yeah Comics as a trade paperback.
Collected edition of that.
So that's kind of cool.
Apparently, they also registered the trademark for Itty Bitty, so there's probably going to be other Itty Bitty Dark Horse comics. Itty Bitty Buffy, maybe
all right.
Itty Bitty...
oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be real fun. But this book has been great. It's very much in the same, tone as Tiny Titans. I mean, it's formatted the same way. It's kind of that couple of little jokes. And it's fun. I mean, if you have a kind of a vague idea of Hellboy, it's these fun little jokes and a little bit of humor in there.
You know, DC and Dark Horse have done plenty of crossovers in the past. I would love to see a Tiny Titans Itty Bitty Hellboy.
That'd be fun.
And oh yeah,
oh yeah, tiny itty bitty stuff.
And throw Superman. Basically, all the stuff Art and Franco have done in one book.
Yeah, just throw it all in there. I'm sure maybe we'll get a itty bitty green team.
Yeah.
Which I hear is getting canceled.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because I like the idea of Art writing something in their standard universe. But
it's just no surprise, I think, to anyone that, hey, it lasted longer than I ever thought we'd see a green team book.
Sure. Next up, I've got, this is X-Men Battle of the Atom, issue 2. This is chapter 10. This is it. This is the end of Battle of the Atom. Mm-hmm. You know, the last issue, things were getting a little hairy. The fight was going down, and we found out that, these guys they're the Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. You know, that's who those future X-Men were that first showed up. And, of course, there was also an X-Men team. For whatever reason, our original X-Men can't go back.
Yeah, something's preventing that.
We don't know what's going on there, but this is the end. And I'm curious to see how they're going to wrap it up because I think this has been a really solid story. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of these mini-series or these event kind of things, these crossovers, start to meander. Yeah. And they don't finish well. I don't know. I feel like the first 9 parts have been really strong. Yeah. Let's hope it finishes well. Mm-hmm. Next, I've got, this is a Dark Horse book. We're going back to Dark Horse. This is The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. This is issue number 5. I like this book. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic, post-punk kind of thing. There's a rock group that was influential. So I guess my brain always goes to a Bill and Ted kind of thing. So imagine if you could mash Bill and Ted with Mad Max the Road Warrior a little bit. You'd almost get this. Okay. And no, not everyone else is going to see Bill and Ted, but to me, the band that's supposed to shape the future and has all this effect, that's what I always think of. So I've liked that book. Gerard Way, talented writer. I don't care about his music. Talented writer. Then I've got Blood Brothers, issue number 3. This is sort of this felt like kind of an exploitation kind of deal where you got 2 guys on the run. I believe they were both vampires, but they're on the run from something. I don't remember. It's been a while since I think I've read that second one. I don't think this has been real, monthly. Yeah, I think there's been more than 4 weeks. So cool stuff, though. I like it. This kind of fell in that little groove there where we had all those vampire books, this and Dayman and all those other things. Well, this week it looks like this is the only vampire book I got. Okay. So we're not going to get too crazy and sparkly this week. Next up, I've got issue number 12 of Legend of Oz, The Wicked West. This is a fun book. Admittedly, I am a little bit behind on it, but I like this. I like what Big Dog does. They do some fun stuff. I like this thing. I really like, what was the other thing? Critter's a pretty fun book. Mm-hmm. They do a great job. I was just talking to Tom Hutchison of Big Dog this weekend at Fanfare. They just do some great things, and I'm going to talk to them about getting them to come in and do a signing. Now, this issue I believe this is the first issue done by Dirk Manning. Okay. He's going to do a 2-issue story arc. Now, if you were here at Comics and More on October the 12th, you could have already picked up this issue 12. Dirk had some copies, and he was signing them. So if you were here for that signing, you might already have it. But, for everybody else, we got him this week. And, of course, we love Dirk. We love Big Dog. They're talking about coming back, where Tom and Dirk would both come into the store to promote the Big Dog stuff and the Legend of Oz. And so that'd be pretty cool. Basically, I mentioned it to Tom. Tom said, yeah, let's do it. And he goes, I'll tell you what. If we do it in the next couple of months, we'll have stuff from Dirk. So see if you can get Dirk back. And Dirk said, it's not a matter of will we do it. You just tell me when to show up. So that'll be cool. Nice. Then I've got, this is the micro series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I've not highlighted the micro series on any of these because, they haven't. Okay, villains, and I've been reading the Turtle stuff, and I love it. We got Bebop and Rocksteady this time around. These are the 2 doofuses from the cartoon that I grew up on. And I dig it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of a little origin story they're going to tell us on Bebop and Rocksteady, who already have like a bit of an updated look. Looks kind of cool. I like that stuff. I think IDW's been doing a really good job. You know, Kevin Eastman's had a hand in what they're doing, and it's cool stuff. And I believe Kevin Eastman is also going to be in the Detroit area, Gibraltar. There's some convention coming up in the next month or so.
Oh, wow.
Some kind of karate expo thing, and he's coming, as are a bunch of the Ninja Turtles cast members and things.
Okay.
Which brings me to issue 27 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is Leonardo has been abducted by the Foot, and he is a member of the Foot. It's a little crazy. I mean, who saw that coming? They're kind of teaming up with old Hob. That the Turtles are kind of being put in a spot where they don't know how else to get out. And, you know, they got to save Leo, but they got to kind of work with the bad guys. And, you know, how bad is he? You know, old Hob. It's cool. I dig it. This has been this City Fall story has been awesome. This is part 6. If you have not been reading it, you should be. This is, next I've got an Image comic here. This is 5 Ghosts, issue 6. I believe this is the first part of the new story arc. The previous went 5, and then it
was originally just going to be a miniseries, but it got picked up for a full series.
And it did very well. The art is fantastic. The story was very, very cool. I'm really looking forward to it. Riley Rossmo posted something about 2 or 3 weeks ago that he'd already read this, and he was kind of bragging a little bit. And I'm like, man, I want to read that. So here it is. We finally got our 5 Ghosts number 6. That first one, that first story arc was called The 5 Ghosts of Fabian Gray. They seem to have changed the title to just 5 Ghosts. Maybe it works better. Maybe it's easier to say. I don't know. But that's a fun book. Ooh, and we got a little Silence of the Lambs reference on the back there. Interesting. Very cool. That's the bulk of my stack. What are you looking at?
I'm starting off with Damien, Son of Batman number 1. This is a 4-issue miniseries. This takes place in the future.
Okay.
Damien is alive and an adult. Whether or not this is some sort of an alternate future, it's comics. All futures are alternate futures. But it's written and drawn by Andy Kubert. I've never read anything that he's written. But he's certainly a fantastic artist.
Yes.
I always got a kick out of Damien. So in this, I think what we're going to see here is him taking on the mantle of Batman, like he did in those Grant Morrison issues that were set kind of in the far future. But we've got Talia, we've got Ra's al Ghul, we've got a grown-up Damien in a grown-up Robin costume. Whether or not he becomes Batman in this, I don't know. I don't know if this is meant.
And is this our Damien, or is this yet another clone, or is this just some future alternate? Okay.
But Bruce is there, so yeah, I don't know if this is. Yeah, this might be an imaginary tale. It might be one of the other Damiens. I don't know if this is going to tie into Grant Morrison stuff, if this is a prequel to it.
I'm guessing this is a reminder so that when they feel they're removed enough from Grant Morrison, they can bring him back. I mean, he was a popular character. They let Grant do what he wanted to do. They want that character back in the stable, which is clear by the fact that they're doing miniseries here.
Yep. So I'm giving it a shot. I don't really know. Again, Andy Kubert, this I think is the first time he's ever written anything. So we'll see if he is any good at that. The artwork is certainly nice. And just as a weird added bonus, I love this paper. It's kind of like the matte Vertigo style paper. It's not the glossy paper that we get on everything else, like Superior Spider-Man, which is my next one. We got Dan Slott, Giuseppe Camuncoli, continuing the adventures of Dr. Octopus and Peter Parker's body. I think we are slowly approaching, the end of this sort of arc. I know a lot of people are clamoring for Peter's return. We all know he's coming back. But in the meantime, this has still been fun. And we've wrapped up our Spider-Man 2099 storyline.
But Miguel's stuck here, right?
So this is, I actually am an issue.
Okay, I believe Miguel is stuck here.
I think I heard that too. Yeah, we're hopefully coming towards the end game of this. Some really solid art by Camuncoli. I think they were saying something about Peter's actually now going to be starting his own company. Parker Industries or something like that.
But they're tracking all the money back and have realized that it's all going back to Otto's funds.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
So so I think they're going to figure this out.
Well, the big plan all along has been, I think, Peter, having spent a decade as an Avenger in real time, has perhaps become a little too respectable in the Marvel Universe. So it's time to make everybody hate him again, and this is the way to do it. Next up, Kick-Ass 3, number 4. This is continuing Mark Millar's sort of dark, realistic superhero storyline. Actually, because this is late, I don't remember where things left off. But basically, it's the adventures of these
I'm both
somewhere real-life vigilante heroes.
I'm both amused and annoyed at the cover that says "Real Life Civil War." I'm one of the few people on the planet that didn't like Mark Millar's Civil War, thought it meandered, didn't really get anywhere. All the tie-ins were better than the core story. And so now he's going to say real life. Really? It's a comic book. Is this the real life or is it just fantasy?
There was a real-life Civil War a while back.
Well, yeah, and that was a whole other thing. That was actual real life.
But
this is more comic book Civil War.
Right, with the slightly more realistic superheroes.
Written by the guy that didn't write the real Civil War so well. Well, not the real one, the fictional one. Yeah.
I like the Civil War a lot. Next up, this is what's it, Avengers or New Avengers?
That's Avengers.
Okay, it's hard to tell because none of them have a clear-cut logo anymore.
Yes.
Avengers issue 22. This is an Infinity tie-in. This is by Lionel Francis Yu and Jonathan Hickman. Looks like we've got some of the, what were they called? The Imperial Guard?
Ah, yes.
Shi'ar Imperial Guard. This book is moving towards its end game. The Avengers are kind of starting their big kind of push to win the war. And this, really, as much as they kind of say you can just read the regular Infinity book, you really do kind of need to read both the Avengers books because they're kind of filling in a lot of the gaps. Looks like we've got a big invasion fleet heading towards Earth, and the Avengers are going to stop it. But, great stuff overall. Again, more with Infinity. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy number 8. This is Brian Michael Bendis and Francesco Francavilla.
That art looks great.
With some very, very different artwork on this book, but still gorgeous stuff. Francavilla is a great artist, great color artist as well. And now, obviously, since the Guardians of the Galaxy are out in space, and Star-Lord's father is kind of a key player in the Infinity series, it makes sense that they would tie in. They just got finished up with Angela. It took them a while to get that book out, so this one's kind of, wasn't that last week?
Yeah, I believe so.
Before? So, now we're catching up a little bit, and we're going to have Angela back in here again, and the Guardians now tie into Marvel's big space epic, which is Infinity, which also is out this week.
Yep.
Number 5, we've got Jonathan Hickman again with Jerome Opeña and Dustin Weaver.
Purple this time.
Yeah, this is the purple issue. Again, this has been a really solid storyline. I've been very, very happy. Very, very different from what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be the heroes against Thanos. That's kind of where everything looked like it was going. It's called Infinity. Thanos was going to chase down the Infinity Gems again, and that's not what we got at all. We get basically a threat from outer space that gets the Avengers off Earth, and Thanos hunting around on Earth. We thought for the Infinity Gem, but it looks like he was looking for his son, who is on Earth and whose mother apparently was an Inhuman. So he's a half Inhuman, and his Inhuman power has been triggered, as has the latent Inhuman powers of people all over the planet. We found out that they're a lost tribe or tribes of Inhumans. Many of the people that we see as human beings apparently have some Inhuman DNA, and their powers are being activated. So now we got a planet. We got mutants back, and now we got Inhumans all over the place. Not going to be too long until everybody on Earth has superpowers.
And then we get an Inhumans movie, and that's how Marvel gets around the fact that they're not allowed to use mutants.
Yeah.
They're not mutants, they're Inhumans.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Works for me. Next up, we've got Action Comics Annual number 2. This is beginning Krypton Returns. Superman has been kind of sucked out into space, and I don't know exactly how, but...
Man, we've never done a Krypton Return story.
Krypton. Not with this Krypton.
Yeah, not in the New 52.
So we'll fill you in on the new Krypton. We've got Ha'el, which was kind of a strange character that I didn't really warm to, but he tried to destroy Earth and bring Krypton back. At the end, he got sent back to Krypton in the past. I don't know if this is some sort of an alternate dimension, if Superman, Superboy, and Supergirl have been sent to Krypton in the past. Looks like we've got Faora from the movie in here.
Who's Ursa?
Oh, she was Faora in the comics first.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, Faora is actually an old character.
Okay.
They changed her name for the movie. Looks like we've got some Dan Jurgens artwork too. So this is the next big Superman storyline.
And a Mad Magazine
and some
parody.
Mad Magazine parody. Hey, it's an annual. They can fill it with all
Absolutely.
kinds of But
and they own Mad Magazine, so
this
why
is
not?
true. We've got Scott Lobdell, Kenneth Rocafort. Yeah, we'll see. The Superman books were kind of meandering, I think, to get to the point where they can start telling the storyline. I'm a big fan of all things Krypton, so hopefully this will pan out. We've got some really nice artwork. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the main villain, but if we can find out a little bit more about Jor-El and Lara and Zod on Krypton, then that's pretty much good for me. Next up, we got the conclusion of Lights Out. This is Green Lantern Annual 2. This has been a really good story. I've really enjoyed this quite a bit. It's been very fast. I know a lot of the Green Lantern crossovers seem to sort of take their time, but this one's actually moved pretty good. This is part 5 and the story's wrapped up. So basically it was 1 month in all the books and this. So basically Relic is trying to take apart the Source Wall.
Okay.
That behind the Source Wall is what the universe needs to survive. Apparently Kyle Rayner, after he merged with the entities, has decided he's going to help Relic. That Relic's actually not a bad guy. He's a good guy, and he's trying to save things. So we'll see how they sort of resolve all of this. Obviously, they're not going to wipe out all the Lanterns.
Right.
So, but yeah, fairly quick resolution, and then we're kind of back to kind of a new status quo yet again. Looks like they're giving a lot of emphasis to Kyle, which is nice. He's one of my favorite Lanterns.
Well, I think a lot of people want to see him doing more.
Yeah, it looks like that's some good stuff here. So yeah, we get the resolution to the Relic storyline pretty quickly.
Okay.
Good stuff. That's my stack.
Well, that brings me to the top of my stack here, which is a no-brainer because Saga comes out this week. So Saga's the top pick of the week. This is Saga number 15. I'm trying to remember what happened in the 14.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a little while.
It seems like it's been a bit. We had to wait, and then they came back, and then I don't know. I just feel like it's not been as steady. I know they went to go look for the writer, and I believe there are also a couple of journalists that are trying to hunt them down and figure out the story. So they're talking to the military TV headed dude. This is such a great book. I really enjoy the storytelling here. I'm probably gonna have to go back and grab the issue before it and remind myself. But oh my! Well, I'm not gonna look anymore because I didn't want to see that. So it looks like there's some crazy stuff going on in the saga this week. Great book.
Be careful not to rip that book up, or Image Comics won't sell you comics anymore.
Okay. Fair enough. Did someone rip something up?
Did you hear about that?
No.
Oh, somebody in a store ripped up a copy of Pretty Deadly, saying it was a horrible comic book, and it went all over the internet. And then Eric Stevenson said they're not going to sell Pretty Deadly to that store ever again. And then the guy apologized, and everything's fine. So don't rip up your comics.
Well, and again, if you think it's a horrible comic and you want to make a big thing about it, and then Image says, we're not going to sell you this book, but we'll sell you other books, why did the guy even backpedal? I hated the book anyway. I don't want to sell it, so we're not going to. It seems easy enough.
Yeah. Because actually then a lot of people started saying horrible things about the store, and all the people who shop at the store are like,
yeah, so just in general, don't say bad things. Like, you may not like it. You can say you don't like it. You don't got to be a jerk about it. I thought the book was all right. I thought it borrowed some things from East to West.
Kind of funny. So, as usual on the internet, a joke can often be taken in the wrong way.
True enough. What do you got?
My top pick is Sandman Overture #1. This is a big gun. Neil Gaiman returning to Sandman. He hasn't been more than 10 years, I think, since he did that.
Not true. Everyone forgets 6 years ago he wrote that Hunters something that nobody read.
But that wasn't a comic book.
There was a 6-issue comic miniseries that came out about 6 years ago that no one read.
He didn't do that.
His name's on the front.
P. Craig Russell adapted that from the story he wrote.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, just like all those Alan Moore books that Alan Moore did next to write. Yeah, he did the Dream Hunters graphic novel, which was an illustrated story.
Okay.
Then P. Craig Russell adapted it because Gaiman wouldn't do any more work for DC.
Gotcha.
Because he wanted his royalties bumped on Sandman, and they said no. And now they said yes. So we have Sandman Overture. This, this is a big gun. This is a big deal.
That looks great.
J.H. Williams on the artwork, Neil Gaiman writing it. If that doesn't sell you, you're probably not into this kind of stuff. But Sandman, classic book, one of the most important books, certainly in modern comic history.
Absolutely.
If not all comics history. And we've got Neil Gaiman coming back. We had before Watchmen without Alan Moore. This is basically before Sandman. This is the story that takes place.
Without Alan Moore, that went over like a fart in church.
Yeah.
No, I didn't sell many of those
Yeah.
at all. I sold about 15 copies of each issue. I imagine I'm going to do a lot better on this.
Yes, this I think is with the stamp of approval by Neil Gaiman and all of the Neil Gaiman fans out there. I'm sure people are going to eat this up. People have been waiting for this story for a long time. Way back when the book was still coming out, he said he had a story that talked about what got Dream to that point in Sandman #1, and that maybe he would one day get around to telling it. And here we are, 20 years later. This was originally going to be called Sandman Zero, I think. I'm sure somebody kicked around before Sandman, but I don't think you can use the before brand very much anymore. It's kind of got a taint to it.
A little bit.
Sandman Overture, we've got 2 covers, one by J.H. Williams and a cover by Dave McKean, who did the covers on all of the regular books. So really, really great stuff. I've been looking forward to this ever since it was announced. So this is easily the top of my stack. Although I would say pretty much, I mean, not to even take shots necessarily at Before Watchmen, but I can't think of any time when anybody's come back and done a prequel to anything and it's actually been as good. But hey, what the hell?
But this is Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, but Peter Jackson and George Lucas didn't do it either.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough.
Although I actually did like The Hobbit quite a bit, so I can't. Hopefully this is more like that kind of prequel than a Phantom Menace kind of prequel. But if nothing else, this looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, J.H. Williams. I never picked up that Batwoman series.
Okay.
Because
I wasn't interested in the storytelling, but the art was great.
Yeah, I wasn't interested in the character, and I don't know. He's a great artist. Great artists, as we've found many times, and hopefully I don't find out on Damien. Great artists don't necessarily make the best writers all the time, but Neil Gaiman, great writer. It's good to see him doing comics again. Yes. He's going to be doing Miracle Man.
Yes.
Miracle Man. They are keeping the Miracle Man next year as well. So we're going to be getting a lot of good Neil Gaiman comics, even after a very long period of nothing. So good stuff.
So that for the most part is your Week in Geek, but I would like to real quick just a shout out to Fanfare this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a great show. It was great to run in everybody from Tom Hutchison to Dirk Manning to Chris Yost, and sold some Walking Dead action figures to Ethan Van Sciver. Everyone was great, and also big congratulations to Dan Doherty, who won not only second year in a row Best Syndicated Print Comic Strip for Beardo, he also won and beat out All Yeah Comics for self-published title of the year for Touching Evil. Which
you have been promoting here.
Absolutely, and he's going to be in here to debut issue number 3 on November 20th. So in 3 weeks, he'll be here with the brand new issue.
Yeah.
But that took the Sheldorf Award. And beat out some really talented people, including Comfort Love and Adam Withers. Just some great stuff. And it was a great show.
Good show. Actually, some of our viewers were there and said hello.
Glad to see you. Mitch Ross Hall. It was cool to hang out with him for a little bit. And, there was one guy that turns around and looks at me at one point. And he's like, "You look familiar to me." And the other girl's like, "Oh, yeah, we see him on TV every week," being sarcastic. And I was like, "Oh, you probably do if you watch, Comics Continuum or something." And the one guy goes, "Oh, that's it." So we had a good time. It was fun.
One guy came up to me and went, "I know you, but I don't know you." And I thought it was just a weird puzzle all of a sudden, but no, he watches the show. So hello, whoever you are.
Hello, everyone. It was great to see everyone, and that is your Week in Geek.
Mm-hmm.